All right, we are back with some more Dungeon Crawler Carl pixel art. Today we are drawing Florin, the crocodile man. He has a crocodile head. And you might notice that this is not a sprite. This is actually Clip Studio Paint, where I like to do all of my digital art. I wanted to sketch out his pose first before going in to see if that might help me a little bit. So here I am sketching that out. Florin has a shotgun as his main weapon, and he just personality-wise seems to be a guy that just runs into battle. So I was really kind of messing around with, would he one-hand a shotgun or would he two-hand it? And I ended up going with one hand because I thought that was cool. We will see how that works out for me later. So I came back in here after I got the very loose sketch in, and then kind of followed it with a slightly more refined sketch. Again, mostly just to get the pose down and to find extra details. Stuff in his gun, the fingerless gloves, the belt, the knee pads, the little pouch on his kind of military tactical pants. I believe I did then get rid of the backpack because I felt like that's probably going to get a little too messy. Of course, added the tail because I forgot that the first time. Although I don't know if the book describes him having a tail. Maybe he does. I assume that he does. He's a crocodile man. Throwing some scales on him and really kind of getting out that pose that I want to do once I get to the pixel art. I feel like this did help me. You don't have to start here, but for me, just sketching it out that way really helps. And then I came in here to kind of finish the sketch and started drawing this out. And that's when I was like, wait a second, what am I doing? This is for pixel art. I don't need to finish this sketch of Florin into a final piece of art. That's not what this is for. Maybe I'll come back to this. I don't know. Anyway, let's go over to the pixel art. So this was a huge learning process. It's been a very big learning process. I learned something new with each sprite that I do. And this one I figured because I still have my graphic tablet out, I'm just going to keep drawing on this instead of using the mouse like I did with my other pixel art. And pretty quickly, I discovered that that's a terrible experience. I don't like it at all, the way that it feels to kind of draw with this. And maybe it's because I'm working at such a small size, because the pixels are so chunky, it just doesn't feel like drawing. Everything feels kind of lumpy when you're trying to make precise drawing. So I quickly abandoned that and went back to the mouse. But I got the general shape of him in and then started blocking in those colors so I can find the biggest shapes. And pixel art really is a lot like, it's a little bit like drawing, but it's a lot like kind of sculpting, where you start to put in shapes, you start to put in extra colors, a little square here, a little square there, and then suddenly it's like,
oh, there you are, Peter.
You'll also see me mess with the size of this canvas a bunch of times because I had made this canvas for Carl and Donut at just kind of standing there, and it was not an appropriate size for a giant crocodile man to be running in. So I resized it several times. I think that I have a lot to learn on just sizing things out. Here I got his pants in. I wanted them to flare out a little bit. There's a line that is right there that makes it imply that his outstretched leg is the one that's in front. It is not. I will fix that line later, just in case it drives you nuts, because it drives me nuts looking at it right now. I do fix it. Here I started messing with the back arm, trying to really accentuate the pose, and then I was really messing around with those teeth and trying to figure that out. And then this made me Google, because I was trying to remember, is it alligators or crocodiles that have the teeth that stick out? It is crocodiles, in case you were wondering. So I did need to have some teeth sticking out. I did also get rid of that kind of yellow that implied like the yellow on the chest, like a lot of cartoon crocodiles and alligators have. It just felt a little too distracting. And you can see that I tried to do a bunch of the scales. That's what those kind of light colors were, trying to make him look scaly. I don't know if I succeeded. I think he might look a little too muddy. If I were to go back and try this again, maybe I would get rid of some of those. And here we are. I just quickly decided to test, well, what would that other arm look like if it was out in front holding the gun? And I liked it. So I decided to bring it back in. I went and looked at some Metal Slug art, and they all hold the gun with two hands. And I don't know if Florin's character would do that, but I just thought it made for a more readable looking sprite. And of course, learning opportunity here, I just tried to shift the pixels around, like transform them and rotate as you would in any art program. And it created just an absolute mess of pixels that you have to then clean up. So while it is convenient to be able to quickly rotate pixels like you can rotate art in any other kind of art program, it does kind of create a little bit of a headache. I never got to the point that I liked the shape of this gun. I think maybe if I were to, again, another attempt at this, I might put the gun a little bit lower. I also noticed that a lot of the Metal Slug art has the gun pointed down, and I think maybe it's just angles wise, it looks better that way. And then when they raise it to shoot, it's perfectly parallel with the ground, so that the gun just like is really, really readable. And this kind of angle for this shotgun just looks wonky. So I'm getting more of these details in. I am liking how this is coming out. He looks like a big crocodile man. And then, whoops, realized he was way too small when I turned on the Carl layer and noticed that he's supposed to be larger than Carl. At least he would be in my mind. He's a giant crocodile guy. Next lesson I learned of just stretching out the canvas vertically also creates a mess of pixels you have to then clean up. I pretty much lost the kind of tactical pouch on his pants, and a lot of detail in his arm I had to completely redo. And then it jacked up the gun even worse. I like it even less now. But you know, you learn. This is what this is about. I'm learning as I go. I think I will hopefully revisit this several months from now and be able to do it better. That's the whole idea. So I'm putting them on the page with Carl and Donut. And now that I watch this back, I see several issues that I wish I should have caught. But, you know, finished is better than perfect. And I will take these lessons with me into the next drawing. And I will see you then. Thanks for watching.